And did you find that even there, on occasion, when you were just one, did you occasionally see that phenomenon of you say something and nothing happens, and then 10 minutes later or 5 minutes later, one of your brethren says the same thing, and everybody goes, oh, that's a very good idea?
Well, that happened at conference more than once. But I would make a comment, no reaction. Then one of my male colleagues would say basically the same thing, and people would react. That's a good idea, let's discuss it. It's a habit that had developed that you don't expect very much from a woman, so you kind of tune out when she speaks, but you listen when a male speaks. Now, I can tell you that experience, which I had as a member of the law faculty, as a member of a court of appeals, now that I have 2 sisters-in-law, it doesn't happen.
For those of you who have not seen RBG or the biopic On the Basis of Sex, I recommend both. They provide a pretty good view of your career prior to becoming a judge and then later a Supreme Court justice. But what used to strike me when I covered your arguments was how you had tailored your arguments. You had an all-male Supreme Court, and you tailored your gender discrimination cases, the arguments in those cases, to appeal to different justices in different ways. And you often had male plaintiffs, and one of those male plaintiffs was Stephen Weisenfeld, whose wife died in childbirth and who was denied Social Security benefits for his child who survived, even though his wife was the principal breadwinner. And you won, but there were basically 3 arguments that succeeded, and I wanted you to talk about how each group of justices saw it.
First, let me tell the audience how Stephen Weisenfeld came to my attention. He had written a letter to the editor to his local paper in Edison, New Jersey, and he said, I've been hearing a lot these days about women's lib. Let me tell you my story. My wife died of an embolism just after our son was born. And I knew that there were benefits available to a sole surviving parent who had a young child to take care of. So I went to the Social Security office to claim those benefits, and I was told, we're very sorry, Mr. Weisenfeld, these are mother's benefits. They're not available to fathers. Now, it was obvious to me that although the plaintiff was a man, the discrimination was against the woman as wage earner. She paid the same Social Security taxes that a man would pay, but her contributions did not net for her family the same protection. So I think it was the dominant view of the court that this was really discrimination against the woman as wage earner. A few of the justices said, no, it's discrimination against the male as parent. He doesn't have the option to personally care for his child. Under Social Security, you could earn a certain amount and still get the Social Security benefits. If you earned over the limit, the benefits would be reduced dollar for dollar. And Weisenfeld had figured out I can do part-time work, earn a certain amount, and keep those benefits. So some of the justices said it's obvious that it's discrimination against the male as parent. He has no choice but to work full-time. He doesn't have the option to care personally for his newborn. And then there was one who later became my chief, then Justice Rehnquist, who said, it's totally arbitrary from the point of view of the baby. Why should the baby have the opportunity for the care of a sole surviving parent only if that parent is female and not if the parent is male? So it was such a wonderful illustration of how gender-based discrimination hurts everyone, hurts women, hurts men, and children.